Mr. T, an actor best known for playing rough around the edges, macho manly men.
Like B.A. Baracus, Clubber Lang, or even himself.
So if I told you that Mr. T had his own cartoon show in the 80s, you'd probably think, wow, okay, I bet he beat the crap out of fools for 30 minutes a day, once a week. Awesome. To that I would say, not exactly. Actually, you're way off.
This is Mr. T, the cartoon. The basic plot is Mr. T is a gymnastics coach, traveling the world with his team, performing at competitions, and, of course, solving mysteries.
Kind of surprised that Hollywood hasn't tried to do a gritty reboot of this show. But, anyways, without further ado, let's get this show started.
First, let's talk about this title sequence. I'm getting the whole she's a gymnast thing, but does she transform into Mr. T?
This brings up a lot of questions.
So let's introduce Mr. T's mystery team. Jeff, the wise guy. Woody, the other wise guy. Robin, second in command. Kim, the one with a photographic memory. Huh, cool. Spike, wait, what?
Now, things are getting interesting.
A mini-me of Mr. T. At least I know it's as weird as this show can possibly get. So who's next? Ah yes, Bulldozer, the dog version of Mr. T.
Is this laced with something? Because I believe I'm seeing triple.
I know this show is basically a full series of Scooby-Doo and the gang meets Mr. T. But did they have to have a dog? Especially one with a mohawk? Well, spoiler alert, the answer is no, because that dog isn't even in this episode. Good call, writers, but I wish they had also written out Mr. T from this intro, because good grief, he's creepy. Not a single face he makes here is one that is appropriate to make at a minor. This show just keeps getting weirder.
You need to consult the Mr. T weirdo meter. Worse than the World of Warcraft commercial.
Thankfully, we move on to live-action Mr. T, who, when compared to his animated counterpart, is surprisingly normal.
That's how we got ourselves involved in the mystery of the Rocky Mountain Express.
Getting ready for his dismount now.
If the intro is anything to go by, these kids are practically superhuman when it comes to gymnastics. My thoughts exactly, condescending judge. This is Garcia. I didn't introduce him earlier because, well, he's kind of a downer.
We're gonna lose because of me! If I'm such a burden to this team, maybe I should just quit.
Why do I get the feeling that this kid is the moral of the story?
After Garcia loses the championship, yes, the championship, for the rest of the team, they are met with even more bad news.
The bus broke down.
But we've got to be in Chicago for another meet in 2 days.
At this point, I'm surprised they don't blame Garcia, since they've been so vocal about how pissed they are.
Jeez, Mr. T, there's no way we can win now. You lost your concentration on that dismount. I warned you about that.
Luckily for Garcia, the team manages to get tickets for the Rocky Mountain Express. Naturally, a team of teenage gymnasts led by Mr. T attracts the attention of the police.
Maybe it's because Mr. T isn't wearing a shirt.
Long story short, the cops are tracking down some stolen goods, of which they cannot speak. Like any smart law enforcement officer, they ask Mr. T to do their job for them, and you know what? If they had just walked 20 more feet, this case would have been closed, because obvious crooks are obvious.
Hey, Garcia! Jeff! Move it!
I should mention that Garcia is not only a superb gymnast, but he's also a photographer. He spent a lot of money on this camera, which he doesn't carry on the train, but just trusts to be safe with the rest of the cargo. Bad move, Garcia. Here we get a look at what the Three Stooges stole. Yes, that's a deadly virus. And it's the first of a few serious twists in this admittedly wacky show. Believe me, it's usually wacky, because not 3 minutes into this train ride, we meet Evelyn.
She's just acted as a volunteer in a biological research experiment in Salt Lake City.
This explains the episode's lack of Mohawk dog. Lessons were learned from those years of Scooby and Scrappy-Doo. No more than one animal sidekick.
Oh, and she knows sign language because one way or another, there has to be a talking animal. Meanwhile, Garcia finds what he believes to be his camera.
Huh?
Seeing the broken vial, he does the smart thing, and nope, he just touches it.
I was just joking earlier, but his teammates weren't exaggerating. Garcia can't do anything right.
Danger. Contains potentially hazardous material.
Well, he's not illiterate, but he should really learn to read before touching. Anyway, with perfect timing, our crooks return, this time even more obviously dressed as criminals. Could they not find a more horrifying monkey scream? Jeez. Our crooks were just as disturbed by that noise because they used their Herculean strength to do this.
Maybe criminals, but that was justified.
After our heroes make a swift recovery, they quickly chase. They quickly chase. Ugh. They chase after the crooks who have taken off with the virus. Still, quickly. That's more like it. Unfortunately, Garcia's bad luck has rubbed off on Jeff, and just in time for a tunnel. With a little quick thinking, Robin coaches Jeff back onto the train.
Down! One more second, and the soup of the day would have been cream of Jeff.
Cream of Jeff. This is a stupid line.
Cut it close like that.
There we go. Oh.
That's disgusting.
Weren't there 3 people up here a minute ago?
And while Robin and Jeff ponder where the bad guy went, world-class sprinter Garcia is still chasing the other crooks. They run into the dining car, which is exactly where they don't want to be because Mo and Curly here make this mistake.
Oh yeah, I pity those fools.
Uh-oh. Swing and a miss.
And the pity is gone.
Even if Mr. T can't catch them, surely Garcia... No. Garcia's excuse is that he's sick or something, maybe because he touched a deadly virus. So he takes a break while Mr. T and Woody keep at it. Some more chasing ensues to fill time until Woody catches up and...
Where'd he go?
That's what you get for asking the audience, Dora.
After Woody makes a Garcia-level mistake, Mr. T nearly catches a crook when...
And the award for the best extra goes to... the Pillow Guy.
Rejected! The crook manages to unhook the baggage car, forcing Mr. T to hijack this poor guy's truck.
Emergency!
Mr. T's quick thinking saves the train the kids are on, but also manages to destroy this other train. Job well done, Mr. T. Back on the safe train, everyone realizes that Mr. T just demolished that baggage car.
Evelyn was in the baggage car!
And nobody's happier about it than Robin.
Come on, let's check it out.
Now here's where the meat of the story is. These two explain that they know all about the virus because Evelyn had it tested on her.
Because who wouldn't test deadly viruses on a signing monkey?
Evelyn is the only known immunity to this extremely deadly virus, which...
Fortunately, you can't catch the virus from somebody who's got it.
...is apparently a horrible virus. Our heroes realize that the crooks must have kidnapped Evelyn because, you guessed it, they were afraid she could identify them.
I have a feeling if they were that afraid, they wouldn't kidnap the monkey.
Then the genius gymnasts stumble upon the clue to end all clues.
Over here is a porter's cap with a banana peel strewn across it.
In the improbably roomy taxi ride to the next train station, Mr. T and the others come to the obvious conclusion that Garcia is infected.
Although that really doesn't explain his actions before he got infected.
So the team splits up, with Mr. T going to find Garcia while everyone else finds the still really obvious crooks. After a short scuffle, the crooks escape, but not before Evelyn can sign a clue.
It's another hand signal.
This whole time, while the kids were failing to apprehend dangerous criminals, Mr. T was apparently doing nothing, because together, they find Garcia's letter of resignation, which conveniently tells them what transportation he intends to use to run away.
I'm taking the next bus out of town. Please don't try to find me. Garcia.
Now they can finally track down Garcia.
But first, we got to be sure we're all right.
Or they can worry about themselves even though they aren't contagious. After everybody is cleared by the doctors, Evelyn's owners reveal that they don't have any samples of her blood.
These scientists are about as useful as Garcia.
They refocus their attention on finding Evelyn and try to interpret the signs that she gave as a clue.
Let's see. Top, ceiling, peak, summit, Eagle Summit. Eagle Summit. It's one of the biggest ski resorts outside Denver.
Wow, that's impressive. You know, I bet she can outsmart the Riddler. And it's funny because she's a gymnast, just like, and her name is Robin. Oh my gosh. And if she's Robin, that makes Mr. T Batman. Now there's an idea for a cartoon.
The uncaped Crusaders split up yet again, with the scientists taking a couple of kids to look for Garcia, and Mr. T taking some kids with him to Eagle Summit. They make it to the summit and manage to find Evelyn. After freeing her, they zoom in on their crotches. Then they have her climb down the chimney to let them into the Crooks' hideout. The Crooks are making their plea for ransom money in return for the virus and the monkey. The kids somehow sneak down the stairs right in the blue guy's line of sight and put their gymnastic skills to use.
Okay, so now there's 2 monkeys.
They fight for a little bit until Mr. T makes his presence known in pure Mr. T fashion. Literally 5 steps from the bottom, and he has to kick the banister to pieces.
I should do that every time I walk down some stairs.
Mr. T finally does a little butt kicking, but of course, one of them escapes, and on skis no less. So while Mr. T is practicing his Eagle Scout's knot tying techniques, Robin decides now is the opportunity she's been waiting for to chase the bad guy.
2 can play at that sport.
There's really no reason that she didn't say game in that situation. Anyway, Mr. T decides that now is not the time to split up, so he grabs some skis and leaves the other kids alone with the other 2 crooks. Here, Mr. T proves that he should have been a professional skier because he catches up and, well,
You out of your mind, girl?
there he goes. But he doesn't stop there. He has a need for speed, and then he has a need to exceed that previous speed.
Can't maneuver around it.
Mr. T forces the guy to be incompetent and crash into a log, and now we're at the big reveal. Time for the masks to come off. And, of course, it was Dr. Adams.
Wait, who?
Did I forget to mention Dr. Adams? Oh, well, that's because he was introduced on the train and then never seen again. He was the scientist's assistant, and he had a total of 3 seconds of screen time when he wasn't in disguise. And with that reveal, ends episode 4. Oh yeah, I also forgot that the B team found Garcia. Nobody on the bus seemed to care that he was dying, so it's a surprisingly accurate portrayal of bus culture. Now that both Garcia and Evelyn have been found, Garcia can be cured, and surprisingly enough, the monkey miracle cure worked better than expected, because Garcia doesn't totally screw up his routine.
I know I let you guys down by not working harder on my routine last week, but wanting to quit the team was worse, because I let myself down.
Ah, there's the moral.
And just in case you missed the moral from Garcia, live-action Mr. T returns to spoon-feed it to the audience.
Knowing when not to quit, that's always harder than throwing in the towel. And that's a tip to you from me, Mr. T.
And with that, we end episode 4 of the Mr. T cartoon show. You know, overall, the show is just a mess. It blatantly rides on the coattails of Scooby-Doo, but it's not even as good because they don't use any creative costumes. Plus, the acting is painfully stiff at times, the plot is laughable at best, and just look at these animation gaps.
In a metallic pouch.
even after all that, it's still fun to watch. The levels of absurdity definitely helped the show from getting boring. And apparently audiences thought the show was okay too, because it lasted for 30 episodes. That's 2 seasons, and that's way better than its successor did, Chuck Norris's Karate Commandos, which only had 5 episodes. So, Mr. T, I applaud you. You don't have to be a macho man all the time. And you taught me a very important lesson. Don't be like Garcia. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a very important matter to attend to.